What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pazza podcast. We are back this week. It's a little late. Sorry for it not being right after the match day. Had some family in town and obviously wanted to spend time with them. Did make time to watch Inter play. Before we go dive into the game, please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff to help me out. And also, I want to mention we do have some more stickers available. We're going to be sending one out actually to Australia here soon. So yeah, we can send them out wherever. If you guys want a Pazza podcast sticker, just let me know in the comments and we'll hook up and try and send you one. So let's dive into this match. It's going to be a little shorter episode this week. The not much to talk about in particular with the first half of this match. It was a very stale and slow performance from Inter. And yeah, we'll dive in. We have the lineups. We'll start out. We had Joseph Martinez in goal, who is filling in for Sommer, who had surgery on his thumb. Sommer apparently is going to be out for quite a few weeks. He maybe is scheduled to come back match day 30 against Udinese, which is, I will be at that match in attendance. It's my first game ever in Milan at the San Siro. So I'm pretty excited for it. It's going to be, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to react. It's going to be quite impactful on me. It's something I've been 20, 25 years in the making wanting to do. So, yeah, I'll be at that match day 30 against Udinese. And hopefully we have Jan Sommer in goal. We'll see. We also had Benji Pavard, Acerbi, and Bastoni making up that back line. Dumfries, Barella, Aslani, Mkhitaryan, and Di Marco on the left side to make up that midfield five across the mid, and Lautaro and Correa up top. Again, like I said, the first half, we are not going to talk about much. It was a very stale, boring, terrible half, terrible performance from a side who's at the top of the table and looking to win the Scudetto. It wasn't good enough. We were chasing the league at this point. Make no mistake, when we kicked this off, we were 2 points behind Napoli. We had the opportunity to go top of the league, and Napoli was in the driver's seat for sure. And I think Nima on the Italian Football Podcast last week said it perfectly. I want to echo his sentiment. You don't want to go to Naples chasing a victory against a Conte side who's only got one match a week. This squad looked like it didn't matter to them. It didn't care. They were coasting in the first half. And there's only two half chances really of note to talk about from this half from Inter. And for a team that's looking to try and win the Scudetto and keep pace with Napoli, it just wasn't good enough. And so the two chances, fourth minute, Aslani, ball over the top, which was actually brilliant. It was a really great ball, great control by Barella to bring it down. Cross across the face of goal. The Genoa player stepped in front of Lautaro, who was definitely, aiming for a first-time volley. He was wanting it for sure. The header clearance, though, found its way to Dumfries, who hit it on the volley. For Dumfries, was a great technique. Usually you don't see Denzel Dumfries hitting a volley like that or with that type of technique. It was really great. And who would have guessed? Joaquin Correa, Tucu Correa, was in the way. He was in the offsides position and deflected off of him, got signal for offsides. Who knows? It might have tested Leali a little bit. Lautaro was following it up too. If Leali did spill it, who knows what would happen? And that kind of has summed up Correa's pretty much time at Inter from Lazio. It was just one of those things, who knows what would have happened if Dumfries would have, or if Correa would have gotten out of the way with that shot. Hard to say, but yeah, other than that, we had the Pavard shot. I think it was the 34th minute from about 20 yards out that it deflected out for a corner. It was a very boring, stale first half performance. I think other than maybe the second half performances against Milan in the Supercoppa and then the one away at Fiorentina, that makeup match where we conceded 3 goals in both of them, it's maybe the worst half of football we've seen from Inter this season. It was absolutely pathetic. Like I said, it's, you're trying to catch up, or not catch up, but chasing Napoli week in and week out. Every game is huge. And to have a performance like that just wasn't good enough in the first half. We'll talk a little bit about where we think that came from, maybe. But the end of my first half, or the first thing on my first half thoughts that I wrote down on my notepad was just pathetic. It was a pathetic performance Us, the fans that tune in and week out, the fans that are there paying to be at the match. We pay to, watch these games in the States, Paramount, other places you might DAZN, DAZN, whatever you might pay. And it's not fair to us, that performance. It was absolutely pathetic, terrible. Mkhitaryan and Correa were absolutely terrible. And I don't understand Mkhitaryan, especially now, the last 2 months, why he gets. It seems like his name does not get erased from the team sheet. It's the first name on the team sheet week in and week out from Inzaghi. And I'm going to defend Inzaghi in a minute, but this one I can't defend him. I hate the defense of Mkhitaryan by anybody, uh, especially currently on his form. I always see on comments, Reddit, Bleacher Report, wherever else, YouTube. He does the stuff that you can't see. That that makes no sense. If he's doing stuff we can't see, what is he doing? We're all watching the match. We're watching the pitch. Someone comment, please, and explain to me what Mkhitaryan does that is the reason why he is the first name on the team sheet week in and week out, and why he's keeping Zielinski on the bench. Zielinski's a better dribbler, better passer, better shooter, a better player. Maybe Mkhitaryan has a little bit more defensively, but it's not like we're sitting here saying Mkhitaryan's a great defensive midfielder. No, there's nothing he's exceptional at. I will say he does make some decent driving runs, but at the end of those driving runs, what does he do? More often than not, he's giving away the ball, and there's no end product on that. A couple years ago, he was big for us, but it's time, Inzaghi. I think we're going to need Zielinski to finish this season out, whether it's to win the Scudetto, to go further in the Champions League, who knows with the Coppa Italia. But we're going to need Zielinski. He brings quality to the table, a different type of quality than Mkhitaryan, in my opinion. And the fact that we get these Mkhitaryan performances, if this was an Asllani performance that Mkhitaryan had in the first half, or has had over the last few match days, Asllani, that you fans would be done with him. Absolutely, you already are, but it'd be even worse now. And why are we saving or protecting Mkhitaryan? I don't get it. I sorry for the rant. I just don't understand the over reliance from Inzaghi on Mkhitaryan when I think Zielinski is clearly the better player on his day. I don't know. And it prevents Zielinski from, sorry, just going a little further on this rant, it prevents Zielinski from being able to get that run of games, to bring form, to build the chemistry with the players on the pitch that he's going to be playing with. Barella, Çalhanoğlu, Di Marco, Lautaro, Thuram, all these players, Bastoni. Mkhitaryan is getting these chances week in and week out. And when it's not good enough, why isn't Zielinski getting the chances? We're not in training. We don't get to see what's going on in training. I don't understand though. It's clear that Mkhitaryan, I think, is past. No amount of mozzarella that he eats every day is going to keep him, in my opinion. He's not getting any younger, is what I'm trying to say. And I think he's past, finally. The age is showing. And it's time. I think it's time Zielinski comes in, especially teams they've kind of figured out a low block is going to stifle Inter. And Mkhitaryan just doesn't have anything to break down a low block. Whereas Zielinski, in my opinion, does bring something to break down a low block. So, guys, comment, see if you have any opinions or try and explain to me what Mkhitaryan does that we don't see, which, again, makes no sense to me. Explain to me. If you're a Mkhitaryan defender, my wife, she loves Mkhitaryan, not because his performances on the pitch. She loves just saying his name. But yeah, let me know why you think Mkhitaryan is better suited to play instead of Zielinski. But yeah, Correa, again, terrible. I think this kind of is the end of Correa's time at Inter. This game, we probably won't see him again in an Inter jersey, which is fine with me. He hasn't done anything. And if you're a Correa lover, I mean, I don't think you're going to see him again the rest of the season. He was absolutely not great in that first half, too. I thought Barella, Bastoni, Di Marco, the three Italians weren't great. Dumfries, not really that great either. The only performance I'd say were okay. Lautaro, Acerbi, Pavard, Asllani, they all played okay. And I wrote in all caps on my notes, needs to be better. Again, we're chasing Napoli, a team who Inter, or maybe it was Serie A, posted a graphic right before I came on that showed this. The next 7 match days, between Napoli and Atalanta, them being out of all their competitions, they only have 7 matches. Those are the ones we're kind of in the fight the next 2 matches with us. And we have potentially 13, almost double the amount of matches that the other 2 teams that we're competing against. So it's got to be better. We can't lose any more points in the league if we want the Scudetto. So had to be better. We saw a halftime switch. Taremi came on for Correa because Correa got injured at the end of the first half. And I think that was going to happen regardless, even if he wasn't injured. Taremi was a better high presser than Correa, and we needed something different up top. 54th minute, our man Grandpa Cherby, what a player, what a performance. You know, he's been out for 3 months, comes back, plays a full 90 in his first match back. And he's just one of those. I think one of my friends, Vince, he said in our group message, I wish we would have got a Cherby, at age 27, and he put in performances like this because we've had him for. This is going to be our 3rd season, and it's just unfortunate we haven't had him longer. He's defying his age, and it's a vintage Cherby. I love Grandpa Cherby. The cocaine nose, mustache imprints that it looks like he has, the weird antics he does, the banter he has with other players. He's just so fun to watch. And the 54th minute, Dumfries loses the ball. I forget who for Genoa plays in through Meretti, who is probably about 15 years his younger than Acerbi, Grandpa Acerbi. And Acerbi, step for step with Meretti, and puts in the last second block, goes out for a corner. It was a 1v1. He had to make the block where Meretti was probably going to be in on goal to score, and Genoa was going to take the lead. And there he is, our man, Grandpa Acerbi. We love him. And it was just a vintage, maybe not even vintage. It's just what we love about Acerbi. Dumfries, or not Dumfries, De Vrij has played great, and I still think De Vrij will probably be who we go with moving forward as far as our veteran center back. But it's always great to see Acerbi back there. He's pocketed every big name striker you can think of, and in the last couple of years, and what a play by him! A game-saving tackle for someone who's been out and injured. He has the passion. He is great. Awesome stuff by Acerbi. We had our first real chance of the second half. It came into the 64th minute, and a corner. It was kind of a routine. I think Aslani passed it to Di Marco, short corner. Di Marco laid it back off to Aslani. Played it across. It wasn't a great cross back in. It was either Dumfries or Acerbi. They both were there. Couldn't really tell who saved the ball from going over. Bounced around a little bit. I think Taremi maybe got a volley or something, and it found its way to Pavard, who attempted the overhead kick and kind of straight at Leali, and that was our chance. It was a decent chance. I think, honestly, the ball did probably go out. I don't think they called it, so I'm glad we didn't score on that one, because last thing I want is all of Serie A to be claiming this conspiracy against Inter like they did against Fiorentina. So thankfully, I guess that didn't go in. But yeah, it was another chance, but it came 20 minutes pretty much after the stroke of halftime. And it just, I don't know. Again, it was one of those things that's frustrating. We are looking to Inter to be the aggressive one, and it took until the 64th minute really to have a big chance. We did get some subs though. Zielinski finally ccame in and started Çalhanoğlu for Mkhitaryan and Aslani, respectively. And in the 70th minute, we see this threat that Çalhanoğlu brings that Aslani doesn't bring to the table, and that is the threat of the long shot. And Çalhanoğlu picked the ball up about 20, 25 yards out, probably closer to 25, 30. Takes a touch, and it looks like he's about to square up for that long shot. That brings the defense forward. They know he's a threat from a long shooting distance, whereas Aslani doesn't offer that threat. When the defense, they have to close him down quicker than they would in Aslani. Well, that kind of makes where you have to sag off your player away from Çalhanoğlu. The closest defender has to be a little tighter to Çalhanoğlu, but the other players don't have to be as tight on their players to kind of help and support. And Çalhanoğlu finds Barella, who a player wasn't super tight on him. And Barella, one touch, shoots it, and we've officially become post FC. I think we've hit the post every match the last 4 or 5 matches, against Milan 3 times. Yeah, it's a joke at this point. We're post FC. We're expect every match from here on out for us to hit the post. Hopefully, it doesn't fuck us any more than it already has. Sorry, the language. Screw us any more than it already has. But yeah, post FC. Go ahead and get it tattooed on you. We are post FC, and it's frustrating. You could see Barella he put his hands up immediately, and yeah, it felt like at this point it was one of those games where either 0-0 tie, or we've said it a million times on the podcast this year. It was going to be a Pazza Inter performance, and we were going to give up a goal at the end. It just kind of felt like that, and it almost came to that if it wasn't for the heroics of Martinez, Joseph Martinez, and the sticks. 76th minute, Genoa get a corner and swing it in, and I don't know what Taremi was doing. His clearance, it came off. It's like he leaned down and it came off the back of his neck, which usually that maybe should go backwards. I don't know, but it went forward and landed literally in the worst spot it could have landed, right in the path of Ekuban for Genoa, who was right in front of goal, in front of Martinez. Lucky for us, he didn't slide it away, and I think it also was a great performance or a great save by Martinez. It was a header. Martinez made himself big, which as a goalkeeper you're taught to do, and he saved us. It should have been 1-0 Genoa at this point, 76th minute, if it wasn't for the heroics of Martinez. And that's all he needed. That's all we needed from him is one save. He's going to be called upon to make one big save a match, and he did it this match. And that's all we're going to need from him for the rest of the time he plays. And literally instantly after, that save proved even more decisive because we got a corner 2 minutes after that in the 78th minute, and it led to the goal. Çalhanoğlu whips one in, and we've seen this several times. I think we see it once a game, once a match this season. Our set piece corner routine, we try and find that front post run by Lautaro and play it into that area time and time again. And it worked this time. And Lautaro was in the great position. He's never the tallest, never jumps the highest, but somehow he always finds a way to get his head on the ball. And it was a deflection, but that's why I have the jersey hanging up instead of the flag today. We got Lauti out, Lauti goal, and you could see what it means to him. You could see that he is a Nerazzurro. He is our captain. He bleeds black and blue. And you could see the passion whenever he scored, what it meant to him. He understood what it meant. Jumps up, celebrates with the fans, screaming the grinta that he has at that moment and throughout every match. I really do love Lautaro. We criticize him as his fans, and sometimes rightfully so. But one thing we never criticize is his work rate and his passion for Inter. And man, to see how he celebrated it, it was great. It's how I celebrated. It's how I'm sure you as fans celebrated. And it's always great to see that. And it was 1-0. And again, that save by Martinez. I think the commentary in America said Martinez and Martinez. They're the ones that made the difference in this match, and it was just great. I love seeing Lautaro score. He's finally in double digits in the league, and again, we've seen. I want to maybe mention it again. I just touched on it, but say it again. It's something we've seen a lot this season. This front post corner routine. We'll see if it continues, but we haven't been as successful with it. But sometimes you just got to keep at something time and time again, and it worked out to our advantage today. Even though it was a slight deflection off the header, maybe you could say a little unlucky for Genoa. Sometimes that's how it rolls, and Inter comes away with 3 points here. I will say there was a chance for Genoa in the 81st minute, but it wasn't really too big of a chance. It was a ball they crossed across. We didn't clear it. It kind of dribbled through. One of the youngsters they brought on had a chance to shoot. It was a very lame, tame chance. Easy for Martinez to save. Di Vrij and Darmian came on for Bastoni and Di Marco. 89th minute, we had Taremi, a chance to kill the game. It's very similar to a lot of the chances he's had this year, kind of point-blank range. Puts it right at Leali, the goalkeeper for Genoa. I don't know what Taremi has to do to score a goal. He's just not there. He's not good enough this season. I know this is kind of a hot topic. A lot of people defend Taremi, but if you only have one goal from open play and all competitions throughout the season. I don't care if you're, a backup striker. You're the first one off the bench that Inzaghi has continuously entrusted. One goal in an open play just isn't good enough, especially for Inter. And I think this is kind of what has been the difference this season is our lack of depth versus, especially in attack when we used to have Lukaku coming off the bench and Correa a couple years ago. It just isn't good enough. And Taremi is one that I think we need to maybe reconsider in the summer. We got him for free if we could sell. That's, plus money. So who really cares? But I don't know. It's a different debate for a different day. But Taremi, you've got to put that away to kill the game. Then the last thing, Lauti in the 93rd minute. He had a couple good skills throughout the match, but in the 93rd minute, Sombreroed over that right back for Genoa. Beautiful bit of skill doing this in the 93rd minute after playing however many consecutive matches it seems like. And puts himself in 1v1 with the keeper, kind of. Maybe he should have done better to kill off the match and slot that one home, but it's a great bit of skill. And Inter comes away with the 3 points. And that's all we needed to put the pressure on Napoli at that point was 3 points. Didn't matter the performance, although we'd like to see a better performance. I've criticized the performance already in this kind of review, but hey, 3 points. Like I've said several times throughout the season, if we come away with the Scudetto at the end of the season, no one's going to care what this performance was like. We're just going to care that we have the trophy. So we'll see. I do think it needs to be better next time out, but 3 points with no Turam, who is in the stands, and Çalhanoğlu not starting, that's massive. Those are two of our best players, two world-class, not world-class, but two pretty class players on their day. So come away with 3 points there. The first half was unacceptable, in my opinion. And what we'll mention is that I've had this debate with some of my friends in the group message at halftime, actually, of this match in our group message. And we'll open this up for you guys' discussion, what you think. But is it time for, or are the players not responding to Inzaghi anymore? That's how I should word it. I personally think it's on the players right now, these performances, when they come out like that. It's on them. You can see Inzaghi on the sideline. The reason why he gets the nickname Dimone is how crazy he is on the sideline. He's motivating. We know the players know the system. He's out there motivating, trying to get them playing up to their best. And for me, it's on the players currently. These performances that aren't good, it looks like the players just. We've seen interviews a couple months back, Bastoni, Dumfries, saying that the league, was nice winning the Scudetto again, but losing that Champions League is something that they've had in the back of their mind. Focused, it seems like, more on the Champions League. That's still in the back of their mind. And so for me, that signals that, the league is not that important to them. Mkhitaryan said, we go into games knowing we're the better team and we kind of play lax. For me, that's not on Inzaghi at that point then. You can see we came out in the second half a little more inspired. That, in my opinion, directly correlates to Inzaghi having still that impact on the squad. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. If you think it's more on the players or more on Inzaghi. There's rumors that Inzaghi, we're not going to go too deep on this, but there's rumors that he might be on his way out to the Premier League this summer, and we might be bringing in Max Allegri. I would hate to see that because I think Inzaghi is one of the best coaches in the world right now and has been in the past or for the past few years. And I think he still has a job to do here at Inter and these players. I think it's more on management maybe too. You could put them maybe on the same level as the players for me for not bringing in anybody in the summer to kind of revitalize the squad. Bring in some players who haven't won the Scudetto before and have that hunger maybe. I don't know. It's interesting what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. I'm still Team Inzaghi. I think the players need to be held a little more responsible than Inzaghi. But again, it's a debate. Start the discussion. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think Martinez had a decent performance. He really wasn't called on between the sticks that much. He had the one huge save that was kind of decisive. But other than that, really wasn't much going on. But sometimes all you need, one big save a match. Like I said, that's all we're going to ask from him, hopefully, and in pretty much every game from here on out that he plays. Do think he looked a little nervy on the ball. Not as confident as he was touted as a player, really good with his feet. Didn't look as great on with the ball at his feet, and maybe that's just nerves. It's his first Serie A start for Inter, so we won't hold that against him. We'll see. Maybe he'll grow into it against Napoli next week and our further, or maybe midweek in the Coppa Italia against Lazio. But I thought he looked all right, not bad. Acerbi and Pavard, I think, looked good. The left side of our squad has not been up to it this past couple months. Bastoni and DiMarco in 2025 just aren't the same players they were last year. I don't know if it's fatigue or what, but we need them to get into form. They're two huge performers for us, two of our most important players. And maybe teams are focusing a little more, and that's why we've seen Dumfries have as many good performances as has had in 2025. But it's concerning. We need Bastoni and DiMarco to be at their best for the rest of the season, and hopefully they find form and catch on. And Lautaro, he shows why he's the captain. That fight, that hunger, that passion that we saw after he scored the goal. You look for your captain in games to make the difference. Your skipper, you look for these guys to be the difference maker, and I think this is why they named Lautaro the captain because of this. He can bring us from a terrible performance and provide the decisiveness, the difference in matches. When Zanetti was our captain, he did it in a different way. It was like these driving runs that he would have from defense all the way to the other side of the field, uh, beat 7, 8 players. He would also track back and stop someone with a great tackle. That's how he led that way. Lautaro leads from the front with his press and leads by scoring goals and his passion. And it's great to have the Argentinian players are very passionate, and it's great to have a captain that's continued that tradition, especially after some of the captains we've had, Icardi, to name one, and it was great. I absolutely adore Lautaro. He's one of my favorite Inter players of all time, and I hope we keep him for another 5 or 6 years. I hope he stays at Inter for life. Honestly, he's absolutely terrific. And yeah, 3 points in the bag, 1-0 victory for Inter, and we move on Lazio midweek, and we have Napoli, huge showdown next week. Napoli lost to Como yesterday, 2-1. We are officially top of the league now, and we're with 1 point in hand, and we could potentially move that to 4 points next week, which is huge. Not to say Atalanta is back in the race too. They are 4 points behind us. If they win next week and we win next week, they are level on points with Napoli. So there's still someone we need to worry about. But yeah, next week, it's the match we've had circled on our calendar for a few weeks now. And it's going to be huge. It's going to be decisive. It's at the Maradona. It could open up a huge gap for us. And who knows, could potentially lead to us winning our 21st Scudetti. And yeah, if you guys have any comments or anything, let me know. Appreciate all the support. We actually did go a little longer than I thought we would. So yeah, appreciate all the support, guys. As always, Forza Inter.